Hi everyone, and happy Earth Day 2020. This is Bradley Naranch, your intrepid host of Secrets of Silicon Valley. I am, even as we speak, hiking backwards from Montara Beach in beautiful Montara, California, to the summit of Montara Mountain at around 1,901 feet. I'd expected a few friends to come and join me, but they didn't arrive, so I'm hiking myself. I often hike solo. I'm a very spiritual person. God is always by my side, and so I may walk alone, but I never am alone. I'm actually doing this as a fundraiser to raise money for local land preservation organizations and other groups throughout the United States and the world that do a lot to protect our biosphere and our ecosystem. That would include the California State Parks Association, Peninsula Open Space Trust, Mid-Peninsula Open Space Trust, the Sierra Club, the Audubon Society, as well as organizations that support our national parks and wilderness areas in this country, and organizations that support the goals of UNESCO, which protect World Heritage Sites and other valuable areas around the planet. This is a beautiful place. The name Montara is kind of interesting. I was looking at it last night. We don't know what the Native Americans called this place. They used it for a long time, but the Spanish most likely called it Montarats, which, depending on how you translate it, means either wild mountain, savaged mountain, untamed mountain. It's also a term that refers to rangers, male and female, who protect wild lands. Kind of like Aragorn, the ranger in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I definitely have a connection to nature. I feel strongly a connection to rangers, including to members of the U.S. Army who are Army Rangers. I know quite a lot of them. I've taught some of them when I was an academic at the University of Montana, at the College of William and Mary, at Stanford, at Loyola University in Maryland, and at Johns Hopkins. This is a bit of a workcation for me. It's a kind of a working vacation. Earth Day is a holiday, just as Easter is to me, just as Christmas is, and the 4th of July, and President's Day, and MLK Day, and all those things. But I'm also working. What am I working towards? I'm working to run for political office in this country. I'm a U.S.-born citizen, grew up in West Virginia. I'm a proud Appalachian American, and now have lived in California continuously since 2008. My wife is a librarian at Stanford Law, and I work actually for a local winery named Byington. They're in the Santa Cruz Mountains, owned by a Los Altos couple. They farm organically, they farm sustainably. And I'm an environmentalist and a social media influencer. And I like to do what I can to promote causes that I believe in. And the current cause that I believe in actually is this country, the United States. And what I'd like to do today is to announce on Earth Day 2022, an important day, is that I do intend to run actually for the office of U.S. President in the 2024 general election. As a Democrat, at least the first time around, I have made some overtures in that regard to House leaders Pelosi, to Chuck Schumer in the Senate, to the Biden administration, and to individuals in Silicon Valley who have the financial means to help support my candidacy. Do I stand a chance? Absolutely. I'm as qualified as any of you listening are to run for our highest office. It is a position, but it's a people's position, and I consider myself to be a person of the people. I've experienced what it's like to be unemployed, to suffer through mental illness, to work minimum wage jobs. I've read a lot, I've traveled a lot, I have a lot of good causes, and I'm an excellent listener. And as you can see, by the fact that I'm backward hiking up one of the most difficult hikes along the California coast. I'm not a quitter, and our country doesn't need quitters. A lot of people voted for Donald Trump in 2020 and in 2016, and I'm going to make sure that those people don't vote for him. They vote for a candidate like me. I have a lot of great ideas. That includes reform of our Constitution, to abolish the Electoral College and provide direct elections of our president. That will be much more inclusive and allow more people to have a say in who runs this country. I believe in the two-party system, the Democrats and Republicans. I think that's important for a healthy democracy, not to be factionalized. But right now we have a lot of people who are jaded, who don't vote. And when they do vote, they tend to vote angrily rather than with their hearts in their heads. And I intend to change that with the help of political allies and those more experienced than myself. So I don't actually have a lot of followers on YouTube or on Instagram, where I'll be posting duplicate copies of this presidential announcement. But some of you do. And I'd like to make a request that you share this video with people who care about the United States, with people who care about the environment, with people who want to see change in this country, for people who want to see statehood for Puerto Rico, for people who want to see statehood for the District of Columbia, where my brother lives. I'd like my brother to be able to vote for me for president one day. I'd like to legalize cannabis across this country. I'd like to lower taxes. I'd like to reduce the deficit. I'd like to make America healthier and reduce Americans' reliance upon the pharmaceutical industry and HMOs, and allow them to do things like I'm doing, hiking in nature, changing their diet, and other simple measures so that they can take their health back into their own hands rather than put it in the hands of outsiders who make a profit, often at the expense of their health. I also have a lot of other great ideas. I've been talking about them online. And what I'm going to do this fall is go on a trip around the country, hopefully in a Chevy Silverado e-vehicle. And I'm going to be camping and staying at trailer parks and RV parks, all kinds of other things, going to gun clubs, going to concerts throughout this country, talking to people, seeing what it is that they want in a leader. That's my fact-finding mission. And I'm going to be posting about it on social media. I'm not going to really be doing formal interviews with our mainstream media because I want you to have a direct line to me and I want to have a direct line to you. And that's what some of our social media platforms are capable of doing. As you can see, I'm not a hater. I'm a lover. I'm a citizen. I'm a patriot. And those are not mutually contradictory terms, despite what some members of the political establishment may tell you. There are good people in Congress. There are good people throughout this country. Some of them should be hiking with me right now. But I hope that in time they will learn to see the light and enjoy America the Beautiful, as I'm doing right now by myself, but through the wonder of the internet, sharing with people like you. This really is a beautiful place. It's a great day. Earth Day is a fantastic day. Some of you may know that the reason we celebrate it in April, in this case between Orthodox and Catholic Easter, as it turns out, and Passover, which was last Saturday, it has to do with something called Arbor Day, which was Plant a Tree Day. Started in Nebraska, of all places, a place I'd love to visit, and I will be visiting on my campaign trail and on my pre-election visits. Maybe even to talk to gentlemen like Warren Buffett, who know quite a bit about American politics and the American economy. Because I definitely want to make sure that our economy is sustainable and green and grows, that provides jobs for people in Appalachia, like my relatives in West Virginia, and other people who mine coal and do other types of decent and hardworking jobs for a living, but whose labor indirectly is contributing to our climate crisis. So I'd really like to see a lot of changes, positive changes, that won't result in a victory for Democrats or Republicans, but a victory for America, for the land that I love, and for the land that I strongly suspect virtually everyone watching this broadcast does love as well. A lot of problems in the world as well. Most of you are aware of them. The war in Ukraine, for example, the threat of nuclear war in the Korean Peninsula, disputed territories like Taiwan, status of Northern Ireland, the struggle of the Armenian people for a country to call their own, peace in the Middle East between Israelis and Palestinians, sub-Saharan African environmental difficulties. The list goes on, but the nice thing about a person like me is I'm ready to tackle them with the same audacity and perseverance that has led me to walk backward to the summit of Montero Mountain in the slim hope that it will draw the attention of the world and cause them to do something wonderful too, like give money to a local land cause, or pass this video on to a friend or a stranger. Let them know there's a new generation of political leaders in this country, and I'm one of them. My name is Bradley Naranch, Neo Alpha Romeo Alpha Neo Charlie Hotel. I live in Woodside, California, in the Santa Cruz Mountains in a place called Kings Mountain, above a beautiful place called La Purísima Creek. It's a beautiful place. I'm a deeply religious person, but in a broad sense. And I strongly suspect many of you can relate. You know, the truth is, the friends, so-called friends, that I had invited for this hike aren't people I've ever met, but they're people I feel I have a kind of a kinship with. They just happen to be some of the wealthiest and probably most influential people in the world. I do have a history of mental illness. I was hospitalized in early 2020 for a schizophrenic breakdown. You know, the sort of thing that you might have seen if you watched the movie A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe. That's pretty much what happened to me. I was also diagnosed with level 1 bipolar disorder, which is a chronic condition, can be treated with medicine, but can also be treated with alternative therapies. I accept both of those diagnoses, actually. I do have spikes of energy, but I found ways through following a ketogenic diet, Keto, through exercising, through meditation, through forming stable, loving relationships, through the dignity of a job that I do well, to keep that condition in control. So I'm absolutely not a perfect candidate, and I don't look like one. I don't like to wear a suit or tie. Yes, I have been highly educated, but I use that education for good. I'm not a wealthy person. I don't intend to be one. I don't intend to use political office to enrich me. I intend it to enrich all of you. That makes me a person of the people. Looking at me, you may think I'm a man. I was indeed born male, but I identify as a two-spirit, 2S. It's part of the wider LGBTQIA plus community. That's a lot of letters, but there are a lot of different ways of being in this world. That's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, LGBT queer, intersex, and asexual. And the plus indicates other ways of being. 2S types like me feel a lot of connection to the original Aboriginal inhabitants of this country and to other societies who live close to the land, who feel in themselves a male as well as a female power. That may sound like new agey stuff, but the reality is it's not. If I were to run and be elected president in 2024, and I'm firmly convinced I will win, and firmly convinced that with your support I will hold that office, I'll be the first non-man elected president and the first 2S ever elected president in this country. That's a great thing. It would be great for this country. It would be great for the cause of inclusivity. And would really take to heart a word that is Hawaiian that I really like, ohana, O-H-A-N-A. Ohana means family, and family means that no one gets left behind, no one gets forgotten. That includes people in Appalachia who feel like they've been left behind. It includes undocumented immigrants who have lived here and worked here and bled here for decades and still don't enjoy the right to become a citizen and to vote. For people like me, or down the road, people like you. And I just don't think that's what America is about, folks. It's certainly not what our founders intended. And as we move forward into the unknown, we can't see what's ahead of us. We can only see where we've been. So better have a leader who's not afraid to walk into the unknown with you. I'm Bradley Naranch. I'm running for president. With your support, all of us in this great country will win. It's going to take me probably another hour or so to reach the top of Montara. That's fine. I've got time, and as you can see, the view is to die for. This is public land. This is historical land. This is our ancestral land. If you think California is just a place of privileged people living in suburbs, well, you've never hiked backward up to Montara Mountain. Because believe you me, if you do, you will think differently. I'm going to wrap this up now at 17 minutes and 17 seconds. I appreciate your time. I know your time is valuable. Bradley out.